Okay, let's go ahead and start the class. Let's actually welcome to Aerospace Lab 1. Okay, my name is Mustafa Mobli. I'm going to be your teacher for the course. Pick up a syllabus, guys. So today we are going to talk about the class a little bit. We will go over the syllabus. What we're going to do, we will talk about the lab report just a little bit. I will actually upload the rubric on Blackboard. And also give you a template for lab reports. Let's make sure we are all on board. Let's do it. Let's go over the syllabus. This chair is a little too low, so I guess I have to stand up. And as I said, my name is Mustafa Mobli, and the class is going to be held. It's at Aerospace Lab 1. It's going to be held Monday, Wednesdays, from 4:40 to 5:30. We don't really have classes on Friday, which I assume is good news to all of us. Friday evening, you don't want to have any classes, right? Unless something happens, right? Unless we miss one of these classes or we can't really finalize the theory that we need to do the experiments in the lab, right? In general, the lab classes, the focus is going to be given to the lab. So lectures are there to help you prepare for the labs, essentially, right? So it is possible for us to even, for some of the labs, we may not need even to have the Wednesday class, or sometimes just the Monday class is enough. But sometimes you need to stay extra for the lab, so be prepared for this. Okay. Office hours, you have my information list is listed here. My office phone number, my email. It is better to send me an email. I don't really, I'm not in the office all the time, so and it's not connected to my cell phone, so I probably will miss your call if you call my office. It's better to send me an email. I will usually reply to emails pretty quickly. If you don't get a reply in 24 hours to 48 hours, you should send me a reminder email, right? No, I probably have missed your email. We have 2 TAs for this class. We have like 2 sections of the class. Section 1 TA is Muhammad Harun Iftikhar. You will meet him next Thursday when you have the first lab. The second TA's name is Ehsan. His last name is a little harder, I guess, to pronounce, Sultan Mohammadi. And you have his information here as well. Any questions so far? There is no textbook for the class, and also because of this COVID situation, the class is face-to-face, so we don't have any online section, but I will record the lecture. That's why I'm using my laptop. I usually like to use the board, but because of the COVID situation, I'm using my laptop, and I will write on my laptop, and I will upload these to a YouTube channel that I will share with you guys. So you can go, if you didn't want to come to class, you can go there and watch the lectures. But, I mean, coming to class is technically mandatory. We will talk about it later when it comes to grading and attendance. Okay. And the lab locations you are going to be updated on the lab locations. Most of them are going to be in this building, except for one maybe, and the basement. Have you ever been to the basement here? No? You will be, so even if you haven't been to the basement, you will see the basement. And the topics we are going to cover is, we are going to start with flight mechanics, which is essentially means that you'll get to play with a flight simulator. It is literally a game, but your job is to export some flight mechanics data like lift coefficient, drag coefficient, angle of attack, and all of those things, and do some analysis. That's the first 2 labs. Then we'll move on to some other software to do the analysis. Afterwards, we'll move on to regular mechanical properties of the material testing, like tensile test, and we will talk about all those later. Composites manufacturing, and then we will do some heat transfer and fluid mechanics or aerodynamics analysis later in the course. Any questions so far? No. Let's talk about the lab schedule a little bit. I'll try to explain the labs, just a couple of sentences each lab, then we'll move on to grading and my expectations for from you guys, and so on and so forth. So lab 1 is the lab in which you are going to learn how to use the flight simulator, and you get to fly a plane essentially, and we will teach you how to export some data, flight mechanics data, from that specific software. And lab 2, we will continue on this, we will build up on this, and you will pick up a syllabus. We will teach you to use another software to modify the airplane you flew the previous week, and essentially see how those modifications are going to affect your flight. Do you have a question? We will use this lab 3 is an aerodynamics lab, so we will calculate the lift coefficient, drag coefficient, and all of different flight parameters for using a specific software in the incompressible flight region. We move on to lab 4, which is dedicated to teach you guys how to use LabVIEW. Is there anyone here who has already used or is familiar with LabVIEW software? No, LabVIEW is the software you use to export experimental data. If you're doing an experiment, you have some modules, whatever, like pressure measurement device, a strain gauge or whatever. You can read that data off of those modules using LabVIEW, and we have dedicated one lab to this. The next lab, we are going to discuss the strain, the concept of a strain. We will use a strain gauge. We will teach you how to use a strain gauge, how to connect this strain gauge to a computer, how to read data off of it, and we will talk about the statistics and confidence intervals and data measurement in general a little bit. We'll move on to the hardness test. All of these labs 6 through lab 9 are mechanical properties of materials, in which we get to test the deflection. Pick up a syllabus from the front. Syllabus. Yeah. You get to test a lot of different materials, and you get to characterize them by their mechanical properties, like the Young's modulus, all of those fun things, right? And we will have one session of a fluid test in which we measure the fluid flow after and before a pump, different conditions. You'll essentially get to become familiar with the fluid mechanics. You guys in aerospace program haven't had any fluid mechanics course, so it's not a bad idea to have at least just an introductory familiarity, I guess, with fluid mechanics. Then we'll move on to 3D printing. This here, you will 3D print your own CAD design, which is you have to design a wing. This is a very simple design. Just export an airfoil, extrude it, you will get a wing, use the 3D printer to print it. And then we will use that 3D printed wing inside the wind tunnel to do the force balance analysis, lift coefficient, drag coefficient, all of those things you want to measure at different angles of attack. And then eventually we'll move on to the final presentation. Is there any questions about the lab schedule? For each lab, for most of the labs, you need to provide a report, and there will be one quiz. Right? The quizzes are going to be pretty straightforward. Very simple quizzes, like I may ask you what are the different axes when it comes to the movement of an airplane. Pretty simple. We will talk about all of this later. Pretty simple, but one question, multiple choice question. And you will take that quiz on a Friday. I will post it on Blackboard. You will have all day to answer the quiz. It shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes to 15 minutes to answer the quiz. It is essentially there to make sure that you have participated in class, either watch it online or have come to class and listened to the lecture, right? Pretty straightforward. But you will get credit for it if your answer is correct. If your answer is not correct, then you will only get credit for the attendance. That's how I check the attendance. So technically, you don't need to come to class. You don't even not need to watch the lecture as long as you give the correct answer on the quiz, or you give an answer on the quiz. It doesn't really have to be a correct answer. You will get the attendance point, right? If it's the correct answer, you will get the quiz grade. You have a total of 10 quizzes and a total of 10 lab reports. Any questions so far? Let's talk about the grading a little bit, and then we'll go back to formatting. Your grading will be based on the quizzes, your correct answer to the quizzes. So each quiz is worth 2 points. Right? That's 10 quizzes, 10 multiplied by 2 is going to be 20 total points. Actually, stay close to the computer to make sure it's recording my voice. And then your lab reports are going to be 5 points each. 10 lab reports, 5 points each, is going to be 50 points. So our focus is mostly on the lab reports. You have to make sure that you do a good job on writing the lab reports. Your then attendance in the lab and taking the quiz, both of them. You have to be present in the lab. Right? And the lab attendance is very important. Lectures, you can watch them online, that I don't really care. But you have to be present in the lab, unless you have a legitimate excuse, right? Hopefully you won't, but you may get COVID, and it's possible for all of us. Or any other reason, doesn't really matter. As long as you have communicated that reason to me before the lab, you won't be you won't be in any trouble, essentially. The final thing you need to do is the project and also the presentation. So this project, the final project, doesn't really have any written report. Just have to prepare a presentation. This is a very straightforward project. Essentially, using the flight simulator, you have to design a new plane in that flight simulator, the software that we are going to go over in the first 2-3 weeks of the lab, right? So you will learn how to use those. You have to design your own plane with its own engine, number of wings, doesn't really matter, whatever you want to design. And it should fly. That's the only condition, right? And you have to present your design at the end of the lab. That will account for 20% of your grade, okay? Of course, the presentation itself is worth some points. So it has to be a technical presentation, it has to be a good presentation, it has to be beautiful, whatever, right? We will talk about that criteria later in the course. But you will get most of the credit as long as your plane flies. And you can fly it and land it. Okay? Does it make sense? We'll talk about this more when we get to it, when we get closer to it. Formatting of the report. So there's a section under your syllabus called formatting. I've tried to explain whatever I need when it comes to formatting of the report. And numbers are all written here. The spacing should be 1.5. Font, either Tahoma or Arial. 12-point size. And then your title of assignment, title of the lab report should be sent out on the first page, followed by the student name. In the next line, you can read through this yourself. Documentation and references have to be in APA style. You have to have accurate spelling and grammar. And your report must contain an abstract, an introduction, a mathematical modeling and formulation, a result and analysis section, conclusion, and references. If you miss any of this, you will lose points. Also, if your calculations are very far from the expected calculations, right, the expected results, you will lose some points, right? This is pretty straightforward. Is there any questions so far? Yes.
So we have roughly one report due a week. Will we turn it into you here in the lecture or to the TA in the lab?
I will open a portal on Blackboard. So essentially, you can it's an assignment on Blackboard. You can actually submit online.
Okay.
Yes.
By what day would it be due?
So you will get a B, the lab day. Essentially.
Okay.
You will do the lab on Thursday. It will be due on Thursday.
Will there be a like sample lab, so to speak, to see like the?
Yeah, I will upload a template for you guys.
Okay.
I will probably ask one of my previous year's students to send me the lab reports, and I will use those. Yeah, just yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
Is the quiz also Thursday or the
Friday.
right?
Right. So you will have 15 minutes to take the quiz on Friday, right? And it will be open all day, right? So you can take it anytime if you want. That's essentially taking the place of the class. Okay? Any other questions? So let's move on. I think we talked about the attendance. I won't really ask anyone to drop their class if they are present for less than 15% of the class. But I just have to explain what's being present for 15% of the class as me in this context. Essentially, it means that you have to be present in 15% of the labs, and you have to take 15% of the quizzes, right? As I said, I don't really fail someone if they miss more than 15%, but I'm assuming they're gonna miss on themselves. Right? They're gonna fail on themselves because you're gonna miss a lot of lab reports and also a lot of quizzes that you should get credit for. So I'm assuming it's either gonna be a D or an F. Right? But if you have any reason, let's say you wake up one day, you feel depressed, right? Just send me an email beforehand and tell me that I can't come to the lab, right? But it must be beforehand, right? Not after you have missed the class. Okay? So any reason is acceptable by me as long as you communicate that reason to me before the lab. And for the lectures, I would like to receive an email if you don't want to come to the class, but as long as you watch the lecture online, it should be fine. I will also upload all of the PowerPoints I'm going to prepare. I already have prepared all of the PowerPoints for all the classes. I don't really use the PowerPoints to teach in the class, but they will be uploaded. So if you wanted to print them and bring them to class or use them later for your lab reports or whatever, you should be able to do so. Any questions? And I guess that's it. The rest of the syllabus is regular university stuff, diversity statement, the disability. We are going to follow university policy and all of these things. And the course outcomes are for the accreditation. So let's go to the PowerPoint. We talked about this. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. There are some of you in the class who already have had some classes with me or have another class with me this semester, so this may be I may be repeating myself for you guys, but I'm sorry for those of you who have already seen this. I got my bachelor's in mechanical engineering from University of Tehran. It is located in Iran, which is a country in the Middle East. Then I moved to the US to get my master's. I got my master's in 2014 and at UofSC here, and also my PhD. I got my PhD here in 2018, and I've been teaching aerospace courses since then. And next part is I'm going to ask you guys to introduce yourself, talk about your interests. I assume most of you are juniors, but there are some exceptions. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you have a question for me, I can also answer the questions, but don't make it very controversial, I guess. And in my previous class, people who were present there, someone asked a very controversial question. Yeah. Keep it PG-13, right? I mean, yeah. So let's just start from, I always start from there, but this time let's just start from here.
Oh, okay.
You can say your name, your interest, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah. So my name is Max. I am a sophomore actually. Doing aerospace, obviously trying to do more of an IT route in aerospace. As far as interests go, big into sports, big into video games. That's a couple other stuff that's about it.
Okay. What video games do you play?
Mostly single player stuff, like big Zelda fan. I guess RPGs.
Okay. Zelda, that's nice. So Nintendo Switch, I guess, right?
I do have the Switch.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm William Balbadilla. I'm also an aerospace major, undergraduate. My interests are longboarding and camping, backpacking stuff.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. What was your first name again?
William.
William, yeah. I know you have told me this before.
My name is Robert Lemieux. I'm a junior in aerospace engineering and nuclear engineering minor. I really enjoy camping, kayaking, video games, and sports.
Okay. Cool.
My name is Rafael Sanchez. I'm also an aerospace engineering major, my junior year. And interest will be, I like to learn a lot of like math and video games.
Your interest is to learn a lot of math.
Yeah, like I like to play with numbers.
That's I like that. I like that. That's very rare.
Prime number is one of the things that I focus on.
Okay, I definitely like that. I mean, you are actually in the correct place. Aerospace and mechanical engineering is a heaven for mathematics, but most people don't like math here. So
I love it.
yeah.
I'm Jason Garrison. I'm an aerospace major and an astronomy minor. As for interest, I guess I'm really into astronomy, space, and all that.
Astronomy minor.
Yeah,
Cool.
sports and all that.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm Maddie Roberts. I'm a junior aerospace engineering major, and I play trumpet in the marching band here.
Okay. Cool.
I'm Danny. I'm a junior aerospace. So my interests, I love sports, golf, baseball. I also love math. I'm actually a Calc 2SI here. So
Okay. Two people who like math. Okay. That's the first. Go ahead.
My name's Drew, junior in aerospace, and for interests I like rock climbing and mountain biking.
What was the second one?
Mountain biking.
Mountain biking.
I'm Judson Matthews. I'm a junior aerospace.
What was the first name again?
Judson.
Jensen?
Judson. JEDSON.
Okay.
I like video games, weightlifting, and flying.
Flying. Yeah. Do you have a fighter license?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
What do you fly?
Pipers, Cessnas, stuff like that.
Okay. Cool. You should take us flying then. Sometime. Yes.
I'm Bryson Henderson. I'm also an aerospace engineer major. I'm assuming everyone here is for the most part. But anyways, yeah, I like space. I like pretty much everything about it. I also really like cars and anime. So
Cars and space. We don't really do a space here that much. We only have one course that relates to space a little bit. That's orbital mechanics. Half of orbital mechanics. Yeah, I see a couple of people who have had orbital mechanics, right? I see Steven, Vitt and Nick, yeah. So you can talk to them, see how interesting is the space part of that. I don't think it is very interesting. Yeah.
My name is Jackson Brown. I'm a junior aerospace major. I like cars. I like tinkering with things. I like computers a lot.
Okay.
Computers. I also like the outdoors, music a lot, and yeah.
Do you play anything?
No, I wish.
Okay.
A little bit here in the guitar, here and there,
Okay.
but I'm not
Nice.
very good.
Okay. No. Thank you.
My name's Patrick Bailey. I'm a junior aerospace engineer major, and my interests are video games, camping, and scuba diving.
Okay. Scuba diving. I've never been a scuba. I've never
Very
done.
fun, very
Yeah.
fun, deep down wreck dives.
I'm a little heavy for scuba diving, so. But I should definitely try. Go ahead.
My name is Jack Hill. I'm a junior aerospace major, and my interests are rock climbing and backpacking.
You are in the propulsion class too, right? You too. What are your interests? I'm sorry.
Rock climbing and backpacking.
Nice. Okay. Thank you.
My name is Horn Gibson, and I'm an aerospace engineering major. My hobbies include playing video games, listening to music, and I kind of have an obsession with math and taking things apart and understanding them and drawing loads of art.
Obsession with math.
And understanding and building stuff.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Very glad to see a lot of math people here. Yeah. I mean, I like math. I think it's obvious. I don't need to say it. Yeah.
My name is Jacob Wilson. I'm an aerospace junior. My big interest in the universe, the unknown, and Elon Musk.
Elon Musk what?
Mars,
Okay. Nice. Elon Musk, yeah.
very interesting guy.
He is an interesting guy, definitely. Yeah. Big innovator. I definitely agree. Not an aerospace engineer though. Yeah. Maybe more of a businessman. Yeah. Interesting guy. I like interesting. Yeah, thanks.
I'm Melissa. I'm an aerospace junior. I like reading, traveling, any adventure, and space.
And space, okay.
Hi, I'm Tristan. I'm a junior in aerospace engineering, and my interests include Legos, sailing, video games, and space.
A lot of space. Yeah.
My name's Matt. Also junior aerospace.
What was the first name?
Matt.
Matt. Okay.
I like sports, fishing, golf, just pretty much anything outdoors.
Nice.
My name is David Hill. I'm a junior in aerospace engineering major. My interests are video games. I like to read and I also play chess.
I like it.
My name is Zach. I'm a junior aerospace major. I like to do anything outdoors, sports, golf, mostly fishing. And I enjoy anything that has to do with business and making money.
Who doesn't like money, huh? You were in the propulsion. Who was in the propulsion class? You two? I mean, I know you are. Okay. Okay, thanks.
My name is Justin. A junior aerospace engineering major, surprise, surprise. And I like to skateboard, paint, draw. I like just about everything under the sun.
Okay. You like everything under the sun?
Yeah. I'm a lover now,
Sounds good. Interesting. Yeah.
My name is Aaron Career. Aerospace junior. Yeah. I like sports and video games.
Sports and video games. Cool.
I'm Kevin Brown. You can guess my major. I like I like hockey. I like Japanese. I watch anime. Play D&D. Do it on my computer. Like games. And yeah.
Okay.
Steven Arrow Jr. Interested in space and electronics.
Space and electronics. Have you heard of Hall thrusters? Have you heard of Hall thrusters? You probably want to check them out. We have a guy here who works on Hall thrusters, which is space and electronics combined.
I'm Philip. I go by West. I like sailing, I like fixing cars, computers, I like video games. I'm playing Gloomhaven a lot recently. Just nerd.
What was it? The Blue Haven?
Gloomhaven?
Is it a game?
Yeah.
Never had a fun. I play some games as well. I used to. But this is, okay. Oh, it's a board game. Interesting. Thank you.
My name's Gordon. I'm also a junior in aerospace engineering, and I'm pretty big into like motorsports and stuff,
Wow.
and as well as video games and the hyperlens.
Okay. Cool.
Mine is Saul, aerospace engineer.
What was the first name?
Oh, Saul,
S-A-U-L? Saul. Okay. My pronunciation is off, but yeah, you go.
I really want to be soccer.
Watching soccer. Okay. That's football. The original football.
Yes.
Let's just start from the.
Oh, me.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Hello, my name is Davis Lee Maxwell Gillette. You can call me Davis or Max. I don't care. My major, like I assume everybody in this room, is aerospace. I'm a junior. Technically, I'm someone of a transfer. I come from New Jersey, so that's fun. My interests are planes. I enjoy planes. I've flight it ever since I was young, and I watched the aircraft land off the airport. Other than that, classic video games, board games. I love board games. I want to try that Bloom thing. Other than that, I don't know. Just normal stuff.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
My name is Jessica. To no one's surprise, I'm a junior in aerospace engineering. I really like games, like especially VR. Lately, I don't know if anybody else does that. I really like space, specifically exoplanets. And I'd like to work on space probes at NASA someday.
Cool. Yeah.
My name's Nick, senior aerospace major. I like water sports, computers, and snow sports.
What was the last one?
Snow sports. Snowboarding, skiing.
Oh, okay.
I'm Sam, aerospace junior. My main interest would be prototype racing, third-person action RPGs, and hypersonic flight.
Hypersonic flight. Yeah, we're gonna have a lab on hypersonic flight in lab 2. So. But that's just a simulation because you cannot really have it.
I'm trying to track down a professor who's everything, but maybe I can research eventually.
We don't really have anyone who does hypersonic flight research here.
That's what I suspect.
Yeah, you probably want to talk to Dr. Wong, who's the closest person, Sang-Hee Wong, who's the director of the program. S-A-N-G-H-E-E-W-O-N, Sang-Hee Wong. He does combustion, though, not generally really, but if there are 3 people who do aerodynamics a little bit, Tanvir, Farooq, Sang-Hee Wong, and me. So out of the 3 of us, there's no one else. So. Please.
Alright, well, I'm Whit. I'm a senior aerospace engineer. My interests are flying, hunting, and water sports.
Do you have your pilot license as well?
Yeah.
Okay, you have 2 people who have the pilot license this year. Nice. We actually have a flight simulator in McNair. Have you ever been to McNair?
Yes.
We have a big flight simulator in McNair that you can really get your license with if you do 60-hour flying. Yes.
But they do IFR training on the flight simulator.
Pardon me?
IFR training. I have simulated IFR
You
training.
don't really do any training, but you can. If you find a trainer, a licensed trainer, you can do any training. But it's just a Cessna, though.
Yeah, that's fine. I've been trying to get my IFR for the past 3 years, but it's so hard to find instructors right now.
Yeah, that's the problem. The instructor is always the problem. But if you could find an instructor, you can bring them here. I'll let you use it.
You said you can only fly Cessnas.
It's not a specific simulator that's designed for Cessna. It is essentially a Cessna cabin. It's a Cessna cabin. You just sit in a Cessna cabin. That's the Cessna 72.
It's not like Microsoft Flight Simulator.
No. It's small. It is not a Microsoft Flight. Yes.
No, you can answer my question.
I did. Okay. Yeah, we have that flight simulator you can definitely use. But we have a smaller flight simulator downstairs that you can choose the plane. We have a shuttle there. We have actually fighter jets, whatever you want to fly. But you should choose a plane that actually you can modify as well, right? So choose wise. I would choose Cessna. That's the easiest one to use. Well, if you like the challenge, you can always choose a bigger plane. Let's see. Oh, it is already 5:14. This is. So today I only wanted to introduce you to the course. I guess other than aerodynamics, if you are a junior, other than aerodynamics, this is your only other aerospace course you are going to take. Is there anyone who is taking aircraft systems? We don't really offer that distance. So this is your only other aerospace specific course you're taking this semester. So hopefully we'll learn a lot of aerospace related stuff, but keep in mind this is a lab course. It is mostly focused on the lab, doing experiments. And sometimes doing the experiments in the lab can get really boring because you have to do the same thing again and again and again for an hour, 2 hours. So be prepared for that. Also, we only have 2 sections for the lab. I requested 4 sections because we have 33 students. I don't know if everyone is present. I don't think so because we have some leftover slower. But so we are going to have 20 students per section. So what we are going to do, and we only have 5 of each device that we're going to use, like 5 flight simulators. 2 person per flight simulator, 2 people per flight simulator is going to be 10 students per section, right? So we need to come up with innovative ways, right? 10 of you will go for the first hour and the other 10 will go for the second hour of the lab, essentially. But we will talk about that a little further. Your TAs will reach out to you and give you the schedule. If you want to go in the second hour or the first hour, if you have a preference, you can reach out to me. Make sure to keep that in mind. Some of the labs we may need to stay a little more. Some of the labs we may need to come on Friday because we have a lot of students and not enough sections. And I could definitely bring this up with the department's administration later. Just tell them that we need more sections for the lab. I told them, didn't help. Maybe you. If you tell them, it helps, right? And what else? Let's see. Yeah, let's start the discussion on whatever we need to learn for the labs on Wednesday. We still have like 15 minutes left, right? 15 minutes left. If you have any question about the course, about the program, as long as it is not a controversial question, I will be more than happy to answer it. If not, then I guess we can wrap up today's class and then come back on Wednesday to continue the discussion.
I have a good question.
Sure.
Will all the labs be like we are in a group or just personal?
All the labs will be groups of 2 essentially.
Wait.
Groups of 2, all of them. Pardon me? I didn't hear you.
Do we get to choose our
Yeah, sure.
Group of 2, right?
Yeah.